What's up, nerds? Welcome to Rarely Sophisticated. I'm your host, John Carter. Joining me in the studio today is our boy, Ryan Breadyweg. Say what's up.
What's going on, everybody?
Welcome back from a few weeks off from the podcast. Hopefully you got lots to talk about.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
All right. So, just knocking it straight out of the park. This is going to be a pretty laid back episode. We're basically just going to talk about our Thanksgiving experiences, spending it with family, watching football, eating lots of good food, stuff like that. But we're going to hit up current events first. You're the one that pointed this out to me. It looks like Aaron Rodgers is going to rejoin the New York Jets.
He is. Well, he said on McAfee multiple times his plan was to rejoin the Jets full time after Thanksgiving. So news, but maybe not really news if you listen to good sports shows.
This is a good sports show.
Yeah, but not really news because we didn't break it.
That's true.
You know, since Aaron Rodgers is paid millions of dollars by McAfee to join his show every Tuesday, which is
millions,
which is apparently a surprise to some people.
It's not a surprise to me.
Here's the thing, like that's just McAfee. He just, hey, you're making my show better. Here's money.
Yeah, I mean that's how it should be.
Absolutely.
Moving on to basketball, LeBron James surpassed 39,000 career points. He's done this over 21 seasons. That's an average of 1,859 points per season. Now, I've broken this down, and we could discuss this because there's always those tropes who say that LeBron is the best of all time, Jordan is the best of all time, Kobe was the best of all time. So I've kind of broken this down, top 5 career points in the NBA. We already talked about LeBron. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 38,387 over the course of 20 seasons. That is an average of 1,919 points per season. So he's number 2. The mailman, Karl Malone, 36,928 over 19 seasons. So that's an average of 1,944 points per season. So those two guys in second and third place still average more points per season than LeBron. Moving on. Number 4, we've got Kobe Bryant, 33,643 over 20 seasons for an average of 1,682 points per season. And then this one's my favorite. Number 5, overall career points, Michael Jordan. 32,292 over 15 seasons for an average of 2,153 points per season.
But I thought you said LeBron's better.
I never said LeBron was better.
That's what everybody says.
No. I am an
Allegedly.
MJ. I'm an MJ supporter 100%. I still feel like he's the GOAT. I feel like everything that he did revolutionized basketball. Everything that he did paved the way for guys like Kobe and LeBron. And it's a shame that Kobe and MJ could not go one-on-one just to determine and shut everybody up once and for all.
I mean, did they really ever need to go one-on-one? Kobe was the reincarnation of Michael. That's all it was. Kobe told everybody straight out he stole all his moves from Michael.
Yeah, MJ was the king.
Yeah, and just add 3 more seasons to Michael Jordan's career, the 3 seasons he took off or that whatever.
Yeah, and he'd
probably be
more.
What, almost 40,000 points in 18 seasons?
Yeah. Pretty close. He'd be just shy. He'd be 39,000 like 600, 700 or something like that. I don't math. I had to do all this before the show.
I don't math either, but we'll see.
All right. Well, Ryan is calculating that out. If you are a basketball fan, let us know in the comments who you think the greatest basketball player of all time is. Is it Kobe? Is it MJ? Or is it LeBron James?
He'd have 38,000 points if he played, 38,751 if he averaged the same amount of points per season.
So then if he played 4 more seasons,
he'd have over 40,000.
Yeah.
So, and that's still in 2 less seasons than LeBron's played already.
Correct. I mean, it's kind of hard to argue with the numbers there.
LeBron, I'll give LeBron this. Like his style of game, he is a better passer. He's more like, I don't know why everybody compares LeBron to Michael, because he's not. He's not like LeBron's closest comparison's probably Magic. Good scorer, but a great passer.
Yeah.
Like LeBron's always been more of a point guard, point forward to me. Good scorer can take over and dominate a game, but he kills you with his passing. So he always reminded me more of like a Magic Johnson-esque player. I still think Magic's better, but that's who LeBron reminds me of, not comparing him to Michael. Kobe and Michael, I'd say that's almost an even. I think Michael's better, but there is no Kobe Bryant without Michael Jordan.
I would agree with that 100%.
So, but, and then the whole debate of you put LeBron in Michael's era, would he do good? He'd be fine. You put Michael Jordan in this era today, he'd still dominate. I hate those debates, but I still think Michael Jordan's the greatest, because here's the thing. You can't be the new greatest of all time if they're still comparing everybody to who actually is the greatest of all time.
Right.
Because 10 years down the road, who are they going to be comparing kids to? Was he LeBron James? No, it's, is this guy the next Michael Jordan? Until that's not said anymore, we don't have the next Michael Jordan.
All right, so let's talk about college football. Michigan beat Ohio State today. Or I'm sorry, the Ohio State.
Yes, they did.
And you had a little something that you wanted to talk about with Marvin Harrison Jr.
He is phenomenal. And they asked him after the game if he was going to go to the NFL draft this year. He said he is undecided. So he's still got to consider family and pray on it, everything, make the right decision for him.
It is really a shame that he is going to finish out his college career without the opportunity to.
He's not even played in a Big Ten championship. He's never played in a Big Ten championship. He's not gonna. He's never played in a national championship, obviously, and he's never beat Michigan in the 3 years he's been at Ohio State. So how much you want to bet at the end of the season Ryan Day is going to get fired? They were calling for his head last year after he lost to Michigan. And Ryan Day is a good coach.
Yeah.
I'll give him that. I think his whole career there, the last 3 years, he's however many, I don't even know how many games college plays in a season. What is it, 12?
I think it's 12, yeah.
So I think he's 33-3 in the last 3 seasons is what I think I heard. He's only lost to Michigan 3 years in a row in regular season.
And Michigan did not have Jim Harbaugh on the sideline for this game.
Nope.
Today was the last game of his suspension.
Which I didn't disagree when people were picking Ohio State to win because of that. McAfee picked him earlier on College Game Day. Lee Corso, I think, picked him earlier on College Game Day. So I thought that was I thought without Harbaugh, I wouldn't have been surprised if they lost. But
so Michigan won 30-24.
Yeah, but Marvin Harrison Jr. still had 5 receptions, 140 something yards, and a touchdown. He is easily one of the greatest college wide receivers.
And he's going to be the number 1 wide receiver if and when he enters the NFL draft.
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt about that. And I think if he stays healthy and plays a similar amount of years his dad, he's going to be a better wide receiver than his dad.
Oh, absolutely. He's had his dad coaching him his entire life, teaching him the rights and wrongs that he learned over his career. Yeah.
No knock on the real Marvin Harrison. Junior is bigger, stronger, and faster. He's 6'3", isn't he?
Yeah, he was bred for football.
Oh, 100%. So, I mean, he's got, I think right now he'll enter the league and be better. He'll be a top 5 wide receiver year 1. Be up there in the same conversations as Jay Jettas and Jamar Chase, Stephon Diggs.
I don't hope this. Obviously, I hope that the Colts figure out some way to draft him if that's even possible. It probably won't happen.
I think it'd be cool for the legacy story.
I think it would be great for the legacy story. But what if Houston ended up drafting Marvin Harrison Jr.?
Oh, you're talking about drafting Marvin Harrison and still having CJ Stroud throw to him?
Yes.
That would be a phenomenal connection. I'd say, and CJ Stroud's already looked phenomenal this year. He's easily winning Rookie of the Year. He'll be an MVP He's already in the MVP conversation. If Houston could get him, which they don't have a number 1 pick next year, is their biggest problem.
No, but they could trade up for it.
That's going to be giving up a lot. Going up as high, you're probably going to have to go up to number 3 to get him.
But I would argue that it'd be worth it.
Oh, it'd 100% be worth it. Their team looks so much better this year.
Oh, yeah.
They're winning the AFC South. There's zero chance they're not going to win the AFC South. The Jaguars haven't looked like they did at the end of last year. Trevor Lawrence finally had his first good game last week. So,
but he's not been playing nearly as good as CJ Stroud.
And Trevor Lawrence is still...
He's still young. He's what, third year?
Third or fourth.
Yeah.
But I still think Trevor Lawrence is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL today. I think he is talented.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, because he was supposed to be the next coming of like the Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning-ish type players.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait for Arch Manning now.
I'm okay with that. And if Richardson doesn't work out, we can get him too.
Oh, absolutely.
Hell, I'll trade Richardson for Arch Manning.
Yes,
just for the namesake.
Just for the name, just to have
another Manning.
So rewinding it back to the Ohio State Michigan game, do you feel like with all the sign stealing and the recruiting scandals and everything, do you think that the Wolverines will have an asterisk next to their name if they win the national championship?
They shouldn't. You know how you prevent sign stealing from happening in college football?
You have better signs.
You put radios in the helmets like they do in the NFL.
Yeah, we've had this discussion. I agree with you 100%.
Well, and like the only reason they don't, like Nick Saban's come out and said it, is because it's an NCAA rule. Yep. Why? Because not all colleges can afford it. Who cares? If your college can't afford it, don't have it. The colleges that can afford it, all the big Power 5 schools that actually have a chance, let them have it. Let them pay for it. You'll have a signal caller on the offense and defensive side. Move on. They are playing amateur football. Like, it's their offensive schemes, defensive schemes are all coming from the NFL. So actually, instead of get these kids prepared, because the highly sought after quarterbacks are going to have to do it the next year or eventually in the NFL. So how about...
And there's got to be some booster out there who would be willing to buy this for, I don't know how boosters work, if they have to put everything in a trust or if they could just buy equipment right out and donate it to the school or what, but there's got to be some booster out there for each school that would be willing to drop. I can't imagine it'd be more than like 10 grand for those headsets.
You wouldn't think so. And there's so, like, what's sad about this whole sign stealing thing with Michigan? There's more technology used in high school and high school football probably has more technology on a sideline than the colleges use right now. You don't see high school holding up giant signs and yelling, have 3 different coaches doing stupid signals on the sideline.
No, and high school football in Texas is like basically the NFL, just with kids who are still going through puberty.
Yeah, so I mean, like, I don't know how much all those systems cost to put a headset in a helmet.
No, but again, I can't see it being more than like 10 grand for like...
And who cares if it is?
That's chump change.
These colleges have millions of dollars. Who cares how much it is?
I know they do, because my tuition was fucking just astronomical.
But what did it go for? You'll never know. But you can pay to get your name on the side of a building.
You can.
So, but once again, the sign stealing thing, who cares? Who said Jim Harbaugh even knows? There is zero evidence to come out that said he knew. They're only punishing him because he was the head coach and he should have known. That's their whole reasoning behind it.
No, and I get that.
But there's no, I don't. Because they literally pay people to steal signs. Like that's their job as scouts. Hey, go to this, see if you can find these signs on the TV copier when you're watching tape. Who knows?
So the NCAA does not have any stipulations in regards to stealing signs. other than you cannot pay to send scouts to the actual games to steal signs. You can look at tape. You can look at signs during the game that you're playing. You just physically can't send scouts to try to decode signs because for obvious reasons. I mean, like not every school could pay, to send a scout to every game for their opponent.
Once again.
Oh yeah, I know they have millions.
Who cares? You know how you fix stealing signs?
Headsets.
100%. And I think the biggest part that everybody was so upset about was the whole, Belichick did it a few years ago, the whole Spygate thing, stealing, recording practices. That's what this guy was doing, allegedly. Connor Stallions was apparently watching or recording stuff. What an idiot. But Connor Stallions was apparently wearing like sunglasses with a camera in them. Who cares?
Yeah, he was like wearing like spy glasses or something like that, going 007 trying to.
So that was the biggest problem with it. The whole Bill Belichick Spygate thing from a few years ago.
Yeah.
Once again, doesn't matter. Fix it. Get headsets in the helmets and no more signs can be stolen. Even though in the professionals, you'll hear all the mic'd ups from the quarterbacks. They'll have little conversations with the Mike linebacker like, hey, you like what happened at the preseason when the Jets were having joint practice with the Packers? Aaron Rodgers looked straight at the guy. He's like, you ain't coming, get back. And he just went back to his cadence and that guy dropped out in coverage immediately. Same thing. They know, and same thing with the linebackers. They know what they have an idea what's coming.
Because Aaron Rodgers is daddy.
Well, and it was also the Packers, so he's known their defense for years.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about University of Colorado Buffaloes.
What a great season.
Yeah, hands down, already better than last year. And I think that that's one of the big things that we have to take away from this is that they improved from last year. Even Coach Prime said they won this season because it was an improvement from last year.
Oh, they won the season just for the mere fact of they went 4-8 on the season. Last year they won one game.
Yeah.
And Coach Prime brought his Louis Vuitton into the building, and it was a definite change. And I think they probably would have won some more games if Travis Hunter wouldn't have got hurt earlier in the year.
Well, I think he also proved that the transfer portal is a viable option for a lot of schools.
Hell, I think isn't Shedeur Sanders hurt, the quarterback? He didn't play today.
Yeah, I think so. I haven't been keeping track of injury reports for college, but it wouldn't surprise me because the first thing that he said at the very end of his press conference today was, "I've got to go check on my boy." So, he's probably going to check on Shedeur, see how Shedeur's doing.
Yeah, so Shedeur threw this season, and I don't think he played today. He threw 3,230 yards, 27 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
And he played Oregon, he played USC, and Coach Prime at the start of the year said, get me now while you can. Because I'm missing about 8 to 10 dogs.
And they're coming.
Oh, he's going to... The biggest thing they need, offensive, defensive line.
Yeah.
The moment they get that, they got the skill players, they got the tight ends, they got the wide receivers, they got the quarterback. Let him cook for another year because I don't see Shedeur going anywhere.
No, he's got one more year of eligibility, so he's going to take advantage of that for sure.
Yeah, I mean his 27-3, and he was sacked 52 times this year. That's the big difference.
Yeah.
52 sacks on the season in 12 games or 11 games because I don't think he played today.
Yeah, and just for comparison, I don't have this stat in front of me, but I'm sure that number is significantly lower for your Power 5 schools. Your Alabama's and Georgia's and Ohio State's and Michigan, all those schools, I'm sure that those numbers are substantially lower. So if you get some big guys who can stop the pressure.
Well, let's just take Michigan's J.J. McCarthy compared to Shedeur. On the season, McCarthy has 2,335 yards, 18 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. How many sacks, you think?
18.
13.
Okay.
13 on the season for a Power 5 that's been a power in the Big Ten for years. So, yeah. So that's, what do you expect?
Yeah. So hopefully the University of Colorado continues to turn around this program and continues to excel, because I'm just excited to watch what they're doing. It's really fun. It's like watching them build the entire program, which essentially they are building the entire program back up from the ground up, and watching them hopefully become a national contender. Hopefully, maybe not next season, but the season after that, you'll start seeing them encroaching into the AP top 25 and then essentially going all the way to the national championship, which in this day and age, if you're not an undefeated school, you're probably not going to a national championship. But next year with the 12-man or with the 12-team playoffs, we don't know what to expect.
Which they should have done 12-team playoff years ago. Having only 4 teams in the college football national, like the playoffs, it's criminal.
Well, they didn't even have playoffs for the longest time. It was just whoever the top 2 schools were played. What was it? The Rose Bowl was considered to be the national championship. And then you had the Sugar Bowl, which was kind of like the consolation game.
Yeah. Now all the bowl games mean nothing.
No.
Basically.
Yeah. You got the Bob's Tire Repair and Auto Valve Checking Bowl 2024.
Oh, and just to harp away on my point about Shedeur Sanders, just one more time. Georgia, how many sacks do you think they have on the whole year to their quarterbacks?
Georgia.
Number 1, back-to-back natties.
9.
10. And that's between four people that threw the ball. 3 quarterbacks and a wide receiver.
It's because them boys are corn-fed.
I'm just saying, like 52, that was the difference. And every game Colorado played this year was like somebody else's Super Bowl, because they were playing Dion. They weren't playing the kids. They were playing Dion.
Yeah.
And they wanted to get Dion. So I'm excited to see what next year brings. Hope he continue. I hope he runs the table.
And I feel like he's put a spotlight back on college football away from your Power 5 schools. I feel like college football should have this broad, like, what is the, is it JMU? Or that,
the undefeated team.
The undefeated team that's not bowl eligible because they
switched to a different ranking.
Just like all these teams, like you're starting to see more coverage of all these teams that 5-10 years ago nobody ever gave a damn about them because they weren't bowl eligible. Now you've got guys like Dion, you've got schools like JMU, you've got all these other things that are making, in my opinion, college football more enjoyable again.
Oh, 100%. Like, I haven't watched I've watched some college football over the last few years. It's
I typically watch the bowl games, or
it's just not professional football.
No, it's not.
Their schemes are kind of ridiculous. It's all air raid, throw it out, 4 wide receivers and a tight end.
Yeah, and then a few years back, what was that? There was an offense that University of Florida was running, and I forget who tried to adopt it in the NFL. I'm drawing a blank right now, but the University of Florida had like a special offense that they were running, and I forget who it was in the NFL that they tried to adopt it, and it just didn't work. And then once teams figured out how to stop it, it was just kind of one of those little niche things that, it worked for a season, and then after that, it didn't work anymore because people figured out how to stop it.
That was probably that Kyler Murray's old coach came from Texas Tech, didn't he?
I thought he came from Clemson.
Maybe it was Clemson. I don't know. The guy that drafted Kyler Murray and got fired last year. That's who I'm thinking it was, is who you're talking about. I really don't know.
I'm going to try to look it up.
He had an air raid offense. Like, that's what the Cardinals did with Kyler there for the first few seasons. And it was the big air raid, spread it out wide, have 3 or 4 wide receivers out there and a running back, and just throw the ball all over the field, which was great, but it didn't work. So, I don't know. Most college offenses do not work in the NFL. Like, greatest college football coach of all time is easily Nick Saban.
Oh, yeah, hands down.
He was not a good professional football coach.
No, but he excels.
Well, because he has control of everything. He can tell you, hey, this is what we're doing. There's no, I don't care how much money you're getting paid. I think he's probably having to change a little bit now with NIL, but he can still control those kids. He still controls their lives.
Well, and he doesn't have as many white collar folks in the front office telling him what to do, because they're like, hey, you're winning games. We're just going to let you run and do whatever you want to do. Like, just tell us how much money you need to keep the program going.
So talking about this is kind of making me transition to something else.
Okay.
Where's Bill Belichick going to coach next year?
Ooh, I don't know, man.
Saban reminds me a lot of a Belichick-y type of coach. Do you think they're actually going to fire him? Do you think because I don't see them firing him, period.
No, but I don't see him staying. I see him deciding not to renew his contract and going elsewhere.
But he has another year on this contract. Yeah, he has this season, the rest of this season and next season. He signed a 2-year deal. So he could stay. But is Kraft and him at the end of the season going to have a conversation, be like, hey, it's up to you? Because he's already been slated. Like, I think he's leaving. If I was Belichick, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Because the Patriots are dead.
Yeah.
They need a whole rebuild. And I don't think it's Belichick's fault. I think he kind of got in his own way a little bit, because he is Bill Belichick and he is probably one of the smartest coaches in the NFL still today. But I think he got, like last season when he had a special teams coordinator and a defensive coordinator trying to call offense, he kind of screwed himself because he thought he was smarter. And I think Belichick probably mostly runs most things over at the Patriots anyway. But Mac Jones had a great rookie season. Then last season he regressed a lot.
Yeah, but we saw a lot of potential in Bailey Zappi. If he was developed a little bit more, he would be like your caliber of like Gardner Minshew or, some of these really good backup quarterbacks.
I think you're giving Bailey Zappi too much credit.
Because he's from WKU. Go Hilltoppers.
I think it was more of a change up. Like, nobody knew what to expect with Bailey Zappi, so he come out and threw the ball around and had a lot of success for the few games he had it.
Yeah.
But that's the big... I mean, I could see Belichick leaving, going to... I have 2 teams in mind that I'd be interested in him going to.
I would like to see what he could do with the Commanders.
That's one of them.
I really think the Commanders could use a little bit more structure in their coaching staff. I believe that they've got a few good pieces that if they were developed a little bit more, there's potential there. But I also think that his recruiting, his ability to draft, I think given the position that Washington's going to be in next year for the draft, I think that he could really pull something out of his ass.
Last I saw, Washington had the number 8 overall pick,
which is still not bad.
The biggest problem with Washington, and they traded away their 2 big guys. They traded away their 2 D linemen and got picks out of it. Chase Young and Sweat, was it? I forget what his name was. He went to the Bears. But they traded away, got some more picks for next year. The biggest their defense is awful.
Yes.
But Sam Howell looks really good for his first year starting. He is throwing the ball. He has like the most pass attempts this year already. Last I saw, it was like 370, 380 something pass attempts on the year. He was leading the league in pass attempts, and he plays for the Commanders. What they need to do, they need to build their trenches. They need their offensive line built up because Sam Howell's been taking a beating this year.
Well, and they need somebody in the backfield. Antonio Gibson is just not cutting it for them.
Brian Robinson Jr. is playing pretty good. He's a good passing option. He's obviously a pass catcher. They don't have the big boys up front.
No.
So, but Sam Howell also, he's still developing, first year starting quarterback. I'd be interested if they kept that at number 8 overall pick. Get him a tight end.
Ooh.
Get him Brock Bowers from Georgia, the number 1 tight end coming out of college this year.
That would be good.
Because just look at their offense then. Yeah, they
Sam
still
Howell
need linemen.
favors the slot. So having a tight end who can play like a slot receiver.
Having a 6'5", 6'4", 6'5", 6'6" tight end of Brock Bowers. He's from Georgia. That's where he plays, I think, right now. He's a stud in college. He's going to be the number 1 tight, lots of potential. So, and just think of their offense with Sam Howell throwing it, Brian Robinson in the backfield, Brock Bowers at tight end. Then you have Scary Terry, Jahan Dotson, Curtis Samuel, and I forget who their other slot receiver is. They've been switching out between Curtis Samuel and one more, but you at least see what you have in a quarterback. But I still...
And if you give him more time and don't let him come under pressure nearly as much, he's going to connect more.
I mean, he looked really good versus the Cowboys on Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
He hung with them for a while, and then all of a sudden, the Cowboys did what they've done all year, and their defense stepped up, got a pick 6. Dak pulled away, played really good because the Cowboys out-talent the Commanders. That's just what it is. Talent obviously eventually will win out. But I think Belichick, personally, Brandon Staley is getting fired at the end of the year for the Chargers. He is supposed to be some kind of defensive guru, and he is wasting Justin Herbert's career. So I think Belichick's going to go coach the Chargers with Justin Herbert because they have talent. They're just an older team.
Yep. Last thing I just want to talk about while we're still kind of recapping current events is Kentucky beat Louisville. Go Big Blue. So, how was your Thanksgiving, bud?
Good. Ate food, hung out with family.
Yeah. What was your favorite thing you had to eat?
Food. All of it.
What all did you have?
Turkey, mashed potatoes, green beans. It was smoked turkey too, so it was great.
Oh, that's nice.
Yep. Uncle smokes a turkey and a ham the night before. Oh, there was so much food. Chocolate pie. You know, all your normal stuff like mac and cheese.
Yeah.
Everything. It was all just really good. Here's a debate I've heard over Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Stuffing, mashed potatoes. Where do you stand?
Oh, that's tough. That's really tough because I have to have both. I can't choose.
I think stuffing's overrated. Slightly. Because not all stuffing is also created equal.
Yeah, I don't like bread stuffing. I like cornbread stuffing. So I would say cornbread stuffing over mashed potatoes, but mashed potatoes over regular bread stuffing.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I just think stuffing gets overrated during Thanksgiving anyway.
I like stuffing when it's actually shoved up the turkey's ass, but that's just me.
Poor turkey.
So we went over to my wife's family. We invited my mom and dad because, this will be my mom's first Thanksgiving without her mom. All that, stuff that happened a few weeks back. So we had turkey, ham, green beans, mashed potatoes, Brussels sprouts, which can fucking burn in hell. Yeah, I didn't eat them, but they were there. Totally fucking disgusting. They had stuff. Oh, go ahead.
Brussels sprouts for Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Thought that was only a torture food for dinners at night.
Yeah, dude, they're like mini cabbages, which I also hate cabbage. So, yeah.
Yeah, cabbage is also gross.
Yeah, cabbage is disgusting. My grandmother used to boil that shit in her house, smelt like a fucking sweatshop. But yeah, so there were Brussels sprouts, there was stuffing, there was oyster stuffing, which was something that I did not try. I don't know why the fuck it was even there, but it was available and I have so many questions.
I'm just concerned. I've heard some things I would eat, but I've heard a lot of things I would not be eating as well.
Yeah, we had cubed potatoes, mac and cheese, sweet potato casserole, rolls, all your staples, stuff like that. Yeah, I would say the ham was probably the best. It was one of those smoked hams, and my father-in-law slow roasted it, and he like basted it for like 8 hours or something like that. He said it was fucking amazing. So yeah. Did you watch any football while you were
Wait,
over?
that's not what you do on Thanksgiving? That's all I did on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much what I do.
The Packers stomped the Lions.
Yes. And can we talk about those throwback uniforms that the Lions had on?
I liked them.
I didn't care for them too much. I thought that they were going to wear the ones with the lion where it's like this and has like the blue rectangle and the gray rectangle on each side of it. Like I thought that's what they were wearing for Thanksgiving, and I was hyped for that. And then when I saw what they were wearing, it's not that I didn't like what they were wearing. I was just let down because it wasn't what I expected them to wear.
Yeah, and I still think the best uniform, and I'm not a Cowboys fan. I think the Cowboys uniform looked the cleanest.
Yeah, and I don't know why so many people give them trash because like I think that uniform is fucking clean.
I think that uniform, like certain uniforms that are their throwbacks or their alternates, should be full-time uniforms. I think that should be the Cowboys full-time uniforms. I like those uniforms. Yeah. But anyway, the Dallas Cowboys destroyed the Washington Redskins. Ooh, Commanders. The Detroit Lions lost to the Packers.
Yeah, Detroit lost to the Packers 29-22.
And the 49ers beat the shit
out of the Seahawks.
Yes.
The
Seahawks look so... I'm so glad I traded DK Metcalf. Thanks, Tyler.
Let's see. Yeah, and the Seahawks were wearing those highlighter green uniforms.
I like their uniforms.
I'm not opposed to them. I think they should do different pants. I don't like the green pants with the green jersey. I think maybe they should do like the navy pants or do like something just to kind of give it a little bit more depth in the color chart. But I love the jersey itself. I just think maybe different pants or put, blue with a big thick green stripe going down them or something like that.
I like bright colors. Their whole uniform was better than the Colts Indianapolis Knights jerseys with the black helmet and the black lines. That was dumb as shit.
I just got me a custom Indiana Knights jersey, asshole.
Don't care though. Like the only way the Indiana Knights jersey for the Colts would have looked cool, they would have all been black with the blue pinstripes and blue and white pinstripes around the numbers and white numbers, blue pinstripes around it. That would look cool. I don't like their jerseys. The Indiana Knights jerseys are dumb as shit.
We'll agree to disagree on that one, bud. Going back to the Cowboys game, interesting statistic here.
Dak Prescott's a dog this year.
Yeah, he's actually doing a lot better than he has previous seasons. But Deron Bland, cornerback for the Dallas Cowboys, has 5 touchdowns, which is the same amount of touchdowns as Travis Kelce, George Kittle, Saquon Barkley, Austin Eckler, Josh Jacobs, and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Is it bad that I named 4 out of the 4 people before, as you were looking them up, I knew 4 names on that list?
Well, because you got the same thing that I did in the group chat.
There was a group chat?
For fantasy. Sent it out. Oh, one of the guys in our league sent it out.
It's all right. You already got to edit out Tyler from earlier.
So Tyler's been on the podcast. We can use his name now.
Oh, okay. But I didn't pay attention to that, but I did. I knew Travis Kelce had 5 on the year. I knew George Kittle had 5 on the year. And I knew Amon-Ra had 5 on the year.
Yeah, George Kittle had a pretty shit game.
No.
Yeah.
Don't worry, they'll throw 2 and 3 touchdowns next week.
Hey, I'm not worried about next week. I was up against George Kittle this week, and he scored like 4 points, and I was like, hell yeah.
Let's hope Travis Kelce has a good week this week.
So you got to watch the Black Friday game. I did not because I thought it was a night game. It ended up being an afternoon game. I felt like a jackass, but I always feel like a jackass. What did you think about it? Because you actually did get to watch it.
It was just the Jets. The Jets did Jets things. They don't have a quarterback. Their offense still looks awful. Defense still plays really good. Tim Boyle was the quarterback. He looked worse than Zach Wilson.
And that's saying a lot.
I don't think Zach Wilson is a bad quarterback.
He's just not Aaron Rodgers, and that's what everybody's trying to compare him to.
And there's throws he makes. It's like, oh, that was impressive. Like he does. Like everybody was talking about Jordan Love after Thanksgiving and all the arm angles he threw from and stuff like that. Zach Wilson has that capability. He is talented. He's definitely a lot better this year, maturity-wise, than he was last year. He takes ownership of the mistakes he makes and stuff like that. I get they needed to make some kind of change on the Jets, but the only change that matters is if they had an all-new offensive line. Because that's their biggest problem. Once again, their offensive line just get their QBs hit so much. Their QBs don't have time. They got to buy time outside the pocket and get hurt. Oh, and then Jalen Phillips, the linebacker from the Dolphins, guess what? He got hurt at MetLife Field. Tore his Achilles. Just like Aaron Rodgers.
You think it might have something to do with the turf?
You ask the Jets, I guarantee it doesn't. But looking back at some of the notable injuries from MetLife, Joey Bosa, or Nick Bosa, I think, got hurt a few years ago. There's been a lot of Sterling Shepard tore his ACL a couple years ago. There's been a lot of injuries on that field. Torn Achilles, ACLs, and MCLs.
I think we need to start an investigation in on the grounds crew.
I think they just need to get rid of the turf in MetLife Field because there's been so many bad things that happen on that field. So many horrific season-ending injuries. They just need to change it. But the Jets did Jets things. Their defense looks really good. Offense looks abysmal.
Do you think Aaron Rodgers should come back, or do you think that there's even a reason for him to risk re-injuring himself?
I want to see it, and it might. That's partially selfish. I like Aaron Rodgers. There's a lot of people that don't. I enjoy watching him. I enjoy listening to him talk. Is he the smartest guy in the room? Probably. And people get offended when you say that. I love listening to Aaron Rodgers. His outlook on things is so interesting to me. He is the hippie, holistic guy.
Motherfucker spent 4 days in a no light, secluded retreat. That's not a retreat, if you ask me. That's a fucking torture chamber. But spent 4 days in total darkness just to try to figure shit out.
Oh, I could talk for hours. I would have so many questions. The man is odd, but odd people interest me because they got a lot to say. They see stuff differently. I would like to see Aaron Rodgers come back selfishly. I don't know if it's the greatest idea realistically because that offensive line, abysmal.
I don't think that it does anything to help the Jets out. They're not making the playoffs.
They are not mathematically eliminated yet. I don't see it as a good thing that he comes back. I would definitely watch it. Aaron Rodgers first came back after he tore his Achilles week 1. Oh, 100% I'm tuning into whatever game that is. Doesn't matter what time it is.
Oh, I'm going to watch it.
It could be 3 a.m. I'm watching it.
I don't want anything to happen to Aaron Rodgers, but there's like a 10% part of me that just expects something terrible to happen to him. And again, I don't want anything bad to happen to Aaron Rodgers. I think he's just rushing back because he's like Brady. He can't live without football.
What does Aaron Rodgers have in his life other than football? He's a 39-year-old man, no kids, no wife, no family, doesn't talk to his own parents. Like, what else does he have except football? Like, Brady had all that, and he still played longer than he should have, and it ruined his marriage.
Rodgers doesn't have anything to lose. I see where you're going with that.
And he's doing something unprecedented right now. He got injured week 1, and he was walking on it 3 weeks later, no crutches. He's a 39-year-old man coming off of a complete Achilles tear, and he could come back and play in December, months after he tore his Achilles completely.
Oh, and if he comes back and at least brings the Jets back up to it, not necessarily, I don't think they can have a winning season at this point, but brings them back almost back into the black. I think that there is a strong argument there that Aaron Rodgers is, and you're not going to get any debate from me, but Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
He's already one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Arm talent wise, who else are you going to put above him? There's Aaron Rodgers, Dan Marino, Patrick Mahomes. Who else? Who's a better arm talent?
Joe Montana.
I'll go with that. I'm good with it. I'm just saying, like, Aaron Rodgers just threw his 100th pick last year when he had a down year and finally threw double-digit picks for the first season since his rookie season. And he's got
what, 17 seasons in?
17, 18?
Yeah.
And he has 400 to 500 touchdowns and just threw his 100th pick last year.
Yeah.
Like Mahomes, Mahomes is easily the greatest quarterback probably of all time if he keeps at the rate he's going.
Oh, yeah.
He's not going to beat out Brady Super Bowl. But Brady should have never got to 7 Super Bowls. Like, that was the dynasty that the Patriots had will never be matched. So you got to have realistic expectations for what a dynasty is.
Right.
Mahomes has been in the league 6 years, 7 years, and he's played.
He was
6
drafted
years.
in 2017.
He's played 6 years, been in the league 7 because he sat as rookie. He's blown out every metric, every number, stats, everything. He's destroyed them all. He's never played a road playoff game. He might this year. And every year he started, he's never played a road playoff game. He's been to 3 Super Bowls, won 2 of them. The only person that's beat him in a Super Bowl, the greatest of all time, Tom Brady. You can hate him, love him, doesn't matter. Brady made the Patriots what they were.
Yes.
I don't think, now you got to give Belichick the same credit. I think they are together. You can't have one without the other.
You've got to have them together. Although Brady did go down to Tampa Bay and win a Super Bowl without Belichick. So, I mean...
And I love to dump on Belichick, but look at the situation Brady walked into.
He literally had all the pieces he needed to make that team great.
He had an offensive line. He had a defense. He brought veterans with him. He brought Gronk with him. His number one pass catcher over his career, the most reliable pass catcher. He had an all-pro, gonna be Hall of Fame wide receiver, Mike Evans, already there. Chris Godwin, all-pro wide receiver. He brought in other pieces at wide receiver and Gronkowski. Like, he walked into a ready-made team that needed a quarterback. Like, and it's Tom Brady, so everybody's gonna play better.
And everybody's going to listen to what he has to say.
Well, and that was the same thing with the Jets this year. You bring in a Hall of Fame caliber player. Did you hear how much buzz was around the Jets at the start of the year? Nobody's cared about the Jets for years. They've been abysmal. They've been awful for years.
I think the last time the Jets were actually like being talked about was
Rex Ryan.
Yeah, and that was what, 2002?
The Dirty Sanchez.
Yeah.
Way back when they actually had a good run. When they had Sanchez and Rex Ryan. It was after 2002. It was 2010 or something, wasn't it?
Was it? No.
It was after 2010s, I thought. I don't know. But when Rex Ryan was there was the last time, but when you bring in that style of quarterback, the Hall of Fame caliber talent, Brady's a Hall of Famer. Rodgers is easily a Hall of Famer.
No, yeah, I'm not going to argue that at all. Rodgers,
he could retire tomorrow, and 5 years from now, he's going on the first ballot Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Regardless if you like him or not, he is that talented.
Yes.
So it was the same thing with the Jets. I think the Jets were more than a quarterback away. They had a Hall of Fame, they have a Super Bowl defense. They need the offensive line. That's where they're lacking. They need a couple guards. They don't have to have the best line in the NFL. They don't need the Kansas City Chiefs line. But if Rodgers had the Kansas City Chiefs line, they'd look phenomenal. Hell, if Zach Wilson had the Kansas City Chiefs line, look a lot better than he has this season.
Man, I don't know, because the Kansas City Chiefs have been struggling with their receiver core.
I'm talking about their offensive line. They have one of the best offensive line in the game. The worst part of the Chiefs line is their left tackle and their right tackle. Other than that, your center and 2 guards, there's nobody better than Joe Thuney, Creed Humphrey, and the only line that I would put above it, Philadelphia Eagles.
Yep.
But the Chiefs line's phenomenal. Their receivers, I don't think are bad. They had this problem last year. They didn't have this many drops. I think they've had 30 drops on the season so far. Then they're leading the NFL in drops this season.
Yeah, especially with MVS.
He's had a lot of important drops his whole career.
Yeah. I think you sent me that highlight reel, didn't you?
Oh, I absolutely did. MVS's best drops from 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
Yes.
Yeah, because once again, Patrick Mahomes retires today. He's going in the Hall of Fame first ballot.
And he's only got, 6 seasons under his belt?
Yep. He's first ballot Hall of Famer today. I don't care who argues with me. And that's I get called a bandwagon jumper for liking the Chiefs. I like Mahomes and Kelsey. Mahomes is the Michael Jordan of football, in my opinion. You're seeing somebody that's transcended the position.
And anybody that has like half a football field right outside their house so that they can just go fucking toss around and warm up and practice and all that. Their heart is in it for sure. He also has a par 3 golf course, which, I love watching him when he's at those celebrity pro mixer tournament things. He's fun to watch when he plays golf too.
I want to go out to Tahoe. I would love to travel out to Tahoe one year to do the American Century Championship out there, just to watch all those guys, because it'd be entertaining.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It'd just be fun. We definitely got off base talking about that.
That
was my rants. That was my rants. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I really don't have anything else in regards to football, but because we were talking about food earlier, what are your top 3 sides? All right, because usually it's ham and turkey are 2 staple items that are at every Thanksgiving. Some people do pork chops, some people do filet mignon and prime rib and all that other stuff. But, we'll go with the top 2. Turkey and ham are always going to be at Thanksgiving. What are your top 3 sides for Thanksgiving?
Mac and cheese.
Good choice.
Deviled eggs.
Gross.
Yeah, nobody cares. I gotta go mashed potatoes. There's other things, but I think those are my 3 favorite.
Okay. I'm gonna piggyback off you with mashed potatoes. I'm gonna go with cornbread stuffing. And then I'm going to go with sweet potato casserole, but not the shit with the marshmallows on top. That shit's gross. And if you do that, you're going to hell. I like the stuff with the brown sugar and the pecans, where it's really crunchy on top. And then you got the sweet potatoes up underneath it. That's what I would say. And if you gave me those 3 things along with turkey and ham, I would be happy. I don't have to have all the other stuff that goes along with Thanksgiving. I could just make a meal out of all that.
That's fair. So what's your problem with deviled eggs?
Number one, I don't like the shit that goes into deviled eggs. I'm not a mayo person. I'm not a mustard person. I'm not a hard-boiled egg person. I like my eggs fried. I want to see the baby bird, chopped up and mixed around and flipped and put some salt and pepper on them shits and good.
That's fair. Just wondered. I love them.
Yeah, no, I'm not a big deviled egg person. I think that's pretty much going to wrap it up. We were supposed to have a short podcast today. We still ended up going.
Not my fault. I had rants.
We went over now. No, it's fine. It's fine. I really enjoyed having you back, man.
Happy to be back.
Yeah. That's going to do it for us today, guys. If you want to follow us on social media, you can follow us on Instagram and YouTube at Rarely Sophisticated. You can follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at RS Podcast X. Send us your questions and episode ideas to rarelysophisticated@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. If you enjoyed the podcast, subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts, and make sure to join us next Tuesday. That's it. Peace.
Daddy, you're silly.